Oh my god, I beat Killbot. Yes! 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 Oh my god! Thank goodness that I didn't fail anymore. Past the yellow portal of the UFO. Ugh. That solar flare. Yeah. Alright, it's been a few days since I beat Killbot, and obviously there's not really much content around it because of a couple reasons. One is because that there's so many effects on the level that it just literally just takes up a lot of storage, and I'm just like, okay. And besides that, there just wasn't much to talk about this because this was just literally a grind just to do. Even though it wasn't a long one, it was literally just a grind, and it was just obviously not my favorite grind that I've done personally. So because I don't want to make this video super short, and because it is part of Maymory month, I just want to explain why I wasn't a huge fan of playing this level. Personally, I think the level is not bad. It's fine. It's a decent level at least, but there's just stuff in it that is just like a little annoying to deal with because it doesn't make up for the hardest parts of the level, and just failing to something that's really easy just makes it very frustrating, you know? And I just don't like that. Obviously, if you didn't read the description, I'm just gonna pretty much summarize it. This ball is obviously really annoying because you have to actually try to make sure you don't hit any of these blocks when you flip gravity. Like this one, you have to be upside down but have to flip gravity so you can hit this red over the time. That one's pretty difficult. That one's not the worst one though. This block though, apparently like you can't buffer it, but it's just easy to slide off the block and not click on time and just hit the UFO portal and crash into this spike, which is just really annoying. The spider part right here is also a little bit tricky because it basically relies on the transition of how you click this green orb for the spider, because you have to hit both of these blocks and then obviously hit in the green or the blue orb and then just flip gravity here. That's just basically what you're supposed to do. But sometimes you can just do the transition wrong for some reason. I don't know why. It shouldn't really be a problem. It's just a little difficult, but it's not the worst thing ever. And then obviously the main problem of this level that isn't just the hardest parts was this wave UFO duel section. The gameplay itself is fine, but the only thing that I didn't like about it is just something that literally is just the same thing over and over again, and I'm just going to say it as well. Even if you try to make it somewhat unique in some way, it's just still going to be the same exact thing. It's wave spam. It's basically just wave spam. Obviously, the UFO needs to do a specific click pattern while you have to focus on a wave to do wave spam, which is pretty much one of the reasons why those parts are pretty difficult. But the one that just wasn't the best was this one, because this you had to focus on the wave spam while trying to do this UFO thing, and basically you have to focus on that until you get to here, and then you can look at the UFO because you can actually slide on this part, but this part you can't slide for some reason. And also this thing is in your way, which is really necessary. And after beating this level, I did look back at other videos just to see if they do actually help some way, if people actually wanted to look at the videos, if they really wanted to beat this level because they think it's really helpful. Most of the videos said to look at the UFO. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, I can't describe that. This is I'm sorry. No. This is literally a wave spam part. You literally have to make sure you actually hold and release for the right amount of time for this wave, because it just you literally can't slide on anything besides this. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry, no. Like, it's wave spam. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It's still wave spam. It doesn't matter. Wave spam's still not good. It's not going to be good to me, so I'm just not going to enjoy that anyways. Like, you could probably figure out the click pattern anyways, but this is obviously in your way, and it's just still wave spam. I'm not good at it, and I don't like it. That's just common sense to me. And then the last thing that got me, which is just basically just a really difficult part because of the flashes that happen in the level, was just this wave duel part. You don't even focus on the ball, you just focus on this wave. But it was just really annoying to figure out because you'd have to like literally rely on the muscle memory from the clicks, because you literally can't look at your wave. The flashes are in your way. You don't want to look at anything because you're going to get distracted. But now we go on to the hardest section of the level, but this is not the hardest part. It's just one of the harder parts. until you get to the last UFO, which is the hardest part of the level. But the reason why I'm not a huge fan of the ship part, not much of the gameplay, it's because of these orbs. And if you can see on the left side, these are toggle triggers. And what do they toggle? The orbs. Yeah, so apparently instead of alpha triggers, they use toggle triggers to toggle them back on. But apparently toggle triggers have this weird delay where it doesn't actually activate the hitbox until like a couple frames later for whatever reason. Like I saw someone play this with hitboxes on, and that's just how it looked. And wow, that is actually just terrible. And the reason why I don't like it is because the strafe fly is not even close to the orb, which is why an alpha trigger would make this work. So like this part could just be so much better if it had an alpha trigger, but unfortunately that's just not the case for this one. Like it could have just been a lot better, and that's just why I try not to hit most of the orbs, but usually you have to, otherwise it just makes the part impossible. I only failed at the RNG orbs once, and then just like failed at the ship twice because I failed at a straight fly, and then the other one was just me hitting the blue orb after hitting this yellow orb. And then we get to the UFO part, which I took 1,930 attempts to do in one run for the very first time. It took me 2 hours to do it. But obviously after you do it, it does get a lot better because you spend a lot of attempts trying to get better because you get close and close every single time. So you'll just figure out the click pattern easily. But yeah, this UFO is just still really random for it to be the hardest part. And the reason why it's super hard is because that there's these saw blades that just get in your way for no reason. Like the original gameplay or the original layout had just like obviously just these ground spikes and whatever. But later on the saws were added just to be, I don't know, just to be there and to be really hard. I obviously wouldn't mind just failing at the UFO when trying to beat this, but if I was literally inconsistent at like some parts of the beginning of the level, then it's just going to be annoying every single time that I have to do those parts because I know I'm going to fail here a lot. Like, I failed at the UFO 7 times when beating this, and at the ship 3 times. I expected more, so that's why I was just not enjoying it as much, because I was just worried that I was going to have a harder time and spend a little bit more on this. But luckily enough, I only failed at the right side of UFO 6 times, and then next I just failed at the upside down UFO once, which was 95. And then when I got to the UFO again, after I got 95, I basically beat the level because the upside down UFO was much easier than the right side up UFO. I think the gameplay and the concept for this level is perfect. I do think it's really good, but it got really annoying to play from zero, not gonna lie. And I had a hard time trying to learn it because the level was just so hard on me for no reason. It got better, but it just, for some reason, I couldn't play it for more than like 10 minutes. It was just way too bright. But then just later on, I was just like, okay, I can play it now. But yeah, that's just the whole point of this level. It's just really hard to play because it's really flashy and it tries to catch you off guard, which is an interesting idea for a memory level. If this was the old version, I would definitely not be doing this because the old version was way worse. But I'm glad this got nerfed in some way. It definitely needed that. I mean, I guess not the UFO, but at least it got nerfed in some way where it wasn't that impossible. That was probably one of the hardest letters for my alphabet currently, and all I can say is that I'm basically almost halfway done, and this is really exciting. Now obviously this was made for my alphabet before Maymory anyways, but I just decided to do it because it was a little bit of a little motivation thing for me to try to do more memory, and now I have a new hardest memory level from maybe possibly thing to Killbot. But yeah, if you didn't read my description, like I said, I just probably I'm not going to do a new hardest memory level because most of them were just not good to me, honestly. I think Limbo's really cool, but Limbo's just way too hard. Like, that's just a massive memory jump, honestly. Like, that's not worth it right now. But if there's a chance that something else comes out, or if I have motivation to do something else, then I'll try it. But I definitely do not want to go for anything harder than Killbot. This was just a lot. Even though it wasn't a long grind, it could have been much more annoying. That's just what I worry about the most when I'm playing this. If I get more annoyed, then it's just not a good experience at all. But that is it, and yeah.